Everywhere you look, artificial intelligence is presented as an all-knowing, magical creation. Society treats it like an omnipresent force that will solve our problems tomorrow. Then you actually sit down to use it. You ask a chatbot a simple factual question, and it gives you a blatantly wrong answer, or it responds in a frustrating, unnatural corporate tone. You're left staring at your screen, facing a fairly obvious dilemma. Is this technology actually a revolutionary genius, or is it just a hyped-up parlor trick? That frustration stems from a simple misunderstanding. We expect the machine to think, but AI doesn't possess human comprehension. It doesn't think, and it doesn't understand the world the way we do. Look at this comparison table mapping the disconnect between what we're promised and what we get. On the left, hype claims AI is omniscient and thinks. But look at the reality on the right. It is simply a pattern recognizer that predicts. To actually benefit from AI, we must establish a clear, plain English definition. This means stripping away the sci-fi myths, the dense coding talk, and the mathematical deep dives. Modern AI is, at its core, a highly sophisticated pattern recognition system operating at massive scale. It looks at millions of examples and maps out what usually goes together. It manages to sound intelligent simply because of volume. Developers have fed these systems unimaginably large amounts of human-created data, books, articles, and websites. It has absorbed the exact cadence of how we communicate. Because it learned from human conversations, it replies using a conversational persona. When a machine types out, "I think," or "I apologize," our human brains are automatically tricked into believing there is a person with actual intent on the other side. Treat AI as a hyper-powerful, inanimate tool. Relying on it as a sentient colleague leads to immediate frustration when the magic fails. This flowchart shows the actual mechanism inside a large language model. You feed in input data, it enters the prediction engine, and the engine calculates the most likely next word in a sequence based on its training. When you loop that prediction mechanism thousands of times a minute, the engine links those individual word guesses together. The result is a smooth, convincing sentence that mimics human thought. But here is the fatal flaw of the system. Because it only predicts based on probability patterns, it does not reference absolute truth. It will frequently output a completely incorrect word and stamp it with high confidence. This is what developers call a hallucination. It is a confident falsehood generated purely because the prediction engine guessed the pattern incorrectly. This establishes the central trade-off of the technology. Every time you use AI, you are trading absolute factual certainty in exchange for massive, immediate speed in generating text and ideas. Let's look at how that trade-off plays out in daily life, starting with the struggle to start a project. Staring at an empty document when you need to draft a difficult email, a memo, or an outline is incredibly slow. Instead of writing from scratch, you delegate the rough framework to the AI. You type out the basic requirements, the tone you want, and the key points you need to hit in your prompt. The immediate operational benefit is speed. In seconds, you generate multiple angles and a workable, cohesive first draft. The trade-off is the quality of the raw output. Because it relies on probability averages, the draft will be generic, structurally predictable, and lack your personal nuance. AI works well as a bulldozer to quickly clear the blank page, but a human must act as the architect to refine the structure, inject specific tone, and provide the final polish. A second major use case is feeding lengthy articles, meeting transcripts, or complex reports into an AI for rapid summarization. The return on investment here is purely time. You extract the core themes and bullet points from thousands of words of dense text almost instantly. But there is a hidden structural danger to this workflow. When the prediction engine condenses that much information, there is a high risk it will smooth over critical nuance or entirely miss vital edge cases. The specific context dropped by the AI during summarization might be the exact context you require as a reader to make an informed decision. This leaves us with a strict operational rule. Summarization tools are highly efficient for gaining general awareness of a topic, but they are dangerously inadequate for making high-stakes, precision decisions. You can also use AI as an interactive sounding board, a frictionless, judgment-free space to test complex ideas or strategies. If you prompt the AI to explain dense topics back to you in plain English, it can rapidly clarify your own understanding and expose gaps in your thinking process. However, you have to watch out for a major psychological trap called sycophancy bias. The prediction model defaults to agreeing with whatever premise you feed it because it is trained to be helpful and compliant. To get actual value out of the exercise, you have to actively prompt the AI to play devil's advocate. You have to force it to provide rigorous pushback and uncover flaws in your idea. As an analytical tool, AI is only as critical, rigorous, or objective as you explicitly command it to be in the prompt. Evaluating whether to use AI for a specific task ultimately comes down to a single metric for any professional, measuring time saved versus trust lost. This framework determines if a task suits AI delegation. In the bottom right green quadrant, low accuracy tasks like drafting emails and brainstorming save massive time. But in the top left red quadrant, high accuracy tasks like legal research require a verification tax, mandatory human effort to rigorously fact-check outputs. This leads to an absolute hard-line rule for AI adoption. If the process of verifying and editing the AI's work takes longer than simply doing the task manually, you must abandon the tool for that specific workflow. Successful AI integration requires a constant calculation. Does the speed of prediction justify the friction of verification? If you are an anxious beginner, start exclusively in that low-stakes green quadrant. Draft difficult emails or summarize non-critical articles. You will build baseline confidence without taking on risk. If you are a time-poor optimizer, deploy AI heavily for formatting and initial drafting. Just remember that you must strictly enforce the verification tax to avoid embarrassing errors. And if you are a skeptical professional, stop testing the AI on obscure facts just to prove it fails. Pivot to using it as a raw pattern recognition tool to format messy data or translate industry jargon. Remember, AI is a powerful, inanimate prediction tool. Its ultimate value to society lies in velocity, not veracity. The most successful users leverage predictive speed to augment their own critical human thinking. They focus on the results the tool can provide while staying sharp enough to catch its inevitable mistakes.